Well, hello, folks out there on YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, folks, the headsets are coming very soon. I think we'll see them this year. And the NCAA has cried uncle. Now, I can't understand why they'd go to headsets. What'd be the purpose of that?
It's got to be America's team.
Yeah, there's some reason. I'm not 100% sure why. But we'll get into it. And, of course, the NCAA, what else are they going to do? They've absolutely been smacked down in every court possible. So I think they've had enough. But let's get into these stories. Man, I can't even go to work for one day without tons of news. And I've been stuck there most of the day.
Drink it up, people! All right, drink it up, gambler.
So anyway, let's get into these stories. All right, it's on CBS by David Cobb. Says helmet communications 2-minute timeout among college football changes that have been proposed. And it says it's going to bring it much more like the NFL with the ability for helmet communications in-game instead of all those crazy flags and all the signs and all that stuff they would do over there. You know, it's hard to get all the signals in. So I think we're going to see something a little bit more like NFL. And they've been doing it for 30 years, so I don't think there'll be any trouble with that, doing it in college. It says the way they're going to do it, they'll have coach-to-player communications, obviously with the quarterback. But the communications would be turned off at the snap or with 15 seconds left on the play clock, depending on which occurs first. So the move comes after a sign-stealing scandal in 2023 engulfed Michigan on its march to the national title. What scandal? Was there a scandal? I hadn't even noticed it. And poor old Connor Stalions, he's stuck selling used vacuum cleaners. The greatest sports analyst in the history of college football, and he's got to sell vacuum cleaners.
I said, don't disturb you. I'm cleaning my room.
Darndest thing I've ever seen. They went from 69% winning percentage to 91 when he showed up over 2 years. I mean, that guy ought to get a trophy or something. Also, there's going to be a 2-minute warning. I believe that's going to happen for both halves. So the first half and the second half, there'll be a 2-minute warning. And if y'all notice the games, they flew by, but they still took almost the same amount of time because they stuck a bunch of commercials in there, which was the whole purpose of speeding up the game, obviously. They'll try to tell you it was other things, but that was BS. The games were flying. Well, now we'll have the 2-minute warnings, and what they'll do, they'll just put more commercials in there. It's not going to shorten the game any. They're never going to shorten the game because any chance they get to put commercials in there, they're going to do.
Hello?
And here it says, this will also help broadcast partners to avoid back-to-back media timeouts. Exactly. They're also going to do something about warnings for uniforms, and I think that has to do with the fact that they have like pants on that go above their knees, you know, which actually looks kind of weird. So I think they're going to make them wear their pants all the way down over their knees. They're supposed to have knee pads there, but nobody wears them anymore. Not the speed guys anyway. They're talking about the ability to use tablets. Somebody will probably figure out a way to hack that. And then a 15-yard horse collar tackle penalties within the tackle box. It says while the measures will still need final approval, it's expected that the measures will go unopposed. I don't see anybody opposing those measures at all. They need to add the 2-minute timeout and add the helmets. That's no question about that. That's a good decision. And I just got a text from Kevin Gentry. He comes on the show from time to time, and he sent me this. And it looks like the NCAA has cried uncle. It says NCAA decides to pause NIL investigation after targeting Tennessee. I wonder why. Said the NCAA, they paused all investigations for NIL. Florida, you're welcome. Says on Friday, Charlie Baker released a statement, acknowledged the impact of the injunction order suspending NIL rules. Says in response to this latest order, the enforcement staff has been asked to pause, not begin investigations involving third-party participation, which obviously would be the collectives. There will be no penalty for conduct that occurs consistent with the injunction while the injunction is in place. Says, I agree with this decision while the progress towards long-term solutions is underway and while we await discussions with the attorneys general in circumstances that are less than ideal, this is at least gives the membership notice of the board's direction related to enforcement. And we know that all occurred up there in Greenville, Tennessee. Clifton Corker, who is the judge, he gave us the preliminary restraining order or the injunction. And he did slap an injunction on them. And it's going to be that way for the entire case. And then we're going to win the case. I've told you that for weeks. It's just, there's no way we're not going to. And Corker said the exact same thing right off the bat. I think what he was trying to tell the NCAA is you might want to work something out with these two attorneys general because you're not going to win.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
And they can't win. The Supreme Court voted on this 9-0. This is really just a waste of time, and I don't understand why the NCAA decided to go in, and act like they did and start investigating all these teams over NIL. It's almost like they didn't understand that the Supreme Court's kind of important. Then it said there will still be some policies. It says prohibition of pay for play, meaning payment for specific athletic performance. I guess that has to do with how many touchdowns you throw. The institutions won't be able to pay. It'll still be the NIL collectives. The quid pro quo requirement. So I guess they'll still kind of do that whispering, I guess. I don't know.
Tiger, here. Keep it fair. Keep it fair, will you?
No, I can't accept it.
Says, I realize pausing NIL-related enforcement while these other bylaws are upheld by the injunction will raise significant questions on campuses. This is precisely why a DI meeting room, not a courtroom, is the best place to change NCAA policy. Well, then quit going after schools the way you did, Charlie. You didn't. Hey, I warned you. I warned you and warned you. And so did UT.
You tell them I'm coming, and hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
And you had to do your thing. Had to show off your individual skills, how tough y'all are. You messed around. You found out. It says the NCAA staff are fully aware of the need to bring about clarity for the role of institutions as soon as possible. So it sounds like now they're going to try to do what they should have done in the first place, which is back down, back off, and try to figure this out and be reasonable, which I think the schools are willing to do, and I think the collectives are willing to do, and the players. But you can't go in there and start pushing people around. They're not going to put up with it. It's nonsense. So a lot of news out today. Obviously, big rules changes to college football. The communications with the helmets, no more of the big signs and all that. The 2-minute warning at the second quarter and the fourth quarter so they can have more commercials. And then, of course, the NCAA recognizing reality for the first time in a long time. So a pretty interesting day, I must say. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's continue to cover all these big college stories. If you've not subscribed, it's on your right, my left. You hit this little button right here. It'll help you get my videos, and it won't cost you a dime. And look, with the algorithm the way it is, and I don't understand the algorithm.
Who are you? I am the architect. I created the Matrix. I've been waiting for you. You have...
Not at all. But if you hit that button, it will help you get the videos. And right over here's the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy based on your viewing history. And we will see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.